Oh, back again, are you? Yes, hello. I've heard all about your investigations. I read the report just now. Whose report? You found him, eh, Vigil? Yes, luckily. Well, anywho, the laddie doesn't work here no more, so your case is now to do with Barclay. I wouldn't like you to get the wrong idea about that. Of course, yes. Mr. Vigil stopped working here 10 years ago now, so...
Yes, we've seen his dismissal notice, haven't we? He was given the job.
I came very well. So, how about a wee handcuff biscuit?
Oh, they really are like little handcuffs, and as hard as irons too.
Oh, that's not that good. So, what's brought you down here today? Well, there's something else we'd like you to ask you about, actually. Is that so? We believe there might have been a document that disappeared from Genshin Asugi's cell. I think it's been called the Asugi Papers or something. Uh-oh, we're not supposed to know that. Did I not say? Gregson's death is not to do with things that might have happened with Barclay. Leave the past in the past, laddie. Let's not foot our boat with irrelevant details. His expressions changed completely. We're clearly onto something here. And what if I simply just need to know? How do you come to ken about that, laddie? Uh-oh. We're not supposed to tell him that. There's not many folk even here in the prison who've heard of those papers. Oh, well, I can't tell him, Mr. Vigil told me.
I'm afraid our sources must remain confidential, sir.
Huh.
We've been led to believe the papers are actually a last will and testament, is that right? The professor's, or rather Genshin Asugi's.
Aye, that's right, you're well informed, Jimmy. Are they really the last will and testament? Because I had a feeling that might not be true. Maybe Kading is hiding something from us still. Oh, is that the end of the silent treatment? But then after the convict's execution, it mysteriously vanished from his cell, didn't it? Heavens no, you're off at half-cocked there. I think you didn't quite get your facts straight. It was there in the cell, exactly where it should have been. Oh, not what we heard elsewhere. Let me just have a wee hook around in here. I'm sure I can find it. Here you are. See? Oh, okay, then the Asugi paper and his will are two different things then. The last will and testament of Genshin Asugi, written with a calligraphy brush. Calligraphy brush? That's fancy. Of course, I cannot read a word of those Japanese squiggles, but I mind it says he leaves all his worldly possessions to his son back in his homeland.
Yes, that's correct. That's the gist of it.
So these are the Asugi papers? Aye, of course they are. Papers written by Asugi, no doubt about it. Yeah, he's lying. There's no mystery here, laddie. That's your lot. After all this tramish of that slay star of an execution, we sent the man's possessions back to his clan in Japan, and that was the end of it.
I think we ought to make a record of this, Mr. Naruhodo, just in case.
Really? This is not evidence? One thing before you go on your way, Mr. Naruhodo. And didn't he mention that the Asugi papers were missing?
Oh, he didn't actually admit it that the Azuki papers were missing. But he did give off an impression that he didn't want to talk about this. But then he just showed me those papers. Oh, yes?
Those papers are not to do with Gregson's death. I'd prefer it if you didn't make no mention of them outside this office, or rather... I wouldn't just prefer it. Consider it an order from the highest level of our government.
Well, they are in our court record, so we have to present it sometime, I guess. Speaking of... The last will and testament of Genshin Azuki. I, Genshin Azuki, hereby request that upon my death any and all material possessions and wealth belonging to me in London be delivered to my son, Kazuma Azuki, in the Empire of Japan. It is with deep sadness that I accept my fate in this foreign land, in the knowledge that I will never see my homeland or family again, but I regret nothing about my chosen path. You regret nothing. I don't think a murderer would write this, honestly. Regret nothing, really? I understand. Okay. The judge doesn't want to hear about this.
That murderer's botched execution and a whole miserable escape. They were Barclay's darkest hour, eh? A shocking embarrassment.
Because the convict had a collaborator on the prison staff, you mean?
Aye, for shame. The coroner who confirmed the death of the man after his execution couldn't his scythe, and my chief warder at the time, Vigil, who was in charge of the whole affair.
He was in charge? But Mr. Vigil says he didn't know anything about it.
The rascal wouldn't say otherwise, eh? More handcuffs?
Oh, how could I say no? You can never have too much iron in your diet. When Mr. Vigil was handed his dismissal notice as a result of what had happened, he was so despairing he jumped out of your office window, didn't he?
I didn't like to say, but that's just Vigil trying to get out of it. Do you not think he would not have jumped from the shock of his crimes being exposed, eh? I do.
You wouldn't say otherwise though, would you?
Of course, I cannot shun all responsibility myself. I shouldn't have let him deceive me. Actually, there's barely anybody that can still went on at the time now. With Gregson having been murdered and Dr. Scythe forbidden from having any visitors.
No visitors? Someone obviously doesn't want her giving anything away. Lord Strongheart? Well, we're not going home empty-handed.
And I would not dream of sending you packing with naught. Come on, here, take a handcuff or two.
Oh, well, it would be rude to say no. Wouldn't want to become anemic.
Okay.
Iris, enough with the iron.
I suppose if there's anybody who might still kinda boot what happened back then. It would be that last from the forensic division, Maria Gore.
Maria Gore?
Aye, Scythe's daughter. She didn't have no more, just the one.
Her daughter? But she looks like... what? 15, maybe? And 10 years ago she was 5, so she doesn't even remember.
But a wee bounce followed in her mom's footsteps. Did I ever see her without a scalpel in her hand?
Ah. Mama, what is this? Where did she spring from? Oh, actually, she doesn't look that young. Now that I've had to have another look. Dr. Scythe's daughter, Maria Gore. We could do with talking to her. Gore? Hold on. Gore? Have we seen this name before? Maria Gore! She's the coroner for Tobias Gregson. Maria Gore. So, she's Dr. Syde's daughter, but her surname is Gore?
Aye, there's some family history, I'm sure, but didn't ken the ins and outs of it. She grew up watching her mom walking with the bodies of folk who'd died in strange circumstances and decided to do the same with her own life. I can understand it myself.
Perhaps she was driven by a deep respect for her mother.
Perhaps. Anywho, she was in charge of Weston's autopsy, I believe.
Right, and the coroner responsible for this incomplete report.
Someone told me once that we last year always loved her mom's stories about cutting up bodies. There's even a rumor that she used to listen to the funeral march as a lullaby.
Oh, well then perhaps her mother might have told her about the autopsy from the case 10 years ago.
Aye, I'd say there's a fighting chance at least. After all, that was a life-changing case for all of us.
We really need to speak with Miss Gore herself. Well, thank you very much.
I'm not happy about any part of this. It took years for Londoners to finally forget the whole professor business. Can you not give up on this, laddie? Stop asking pointless questions.
I'm sorry, I don't like dredging up those painful memories for everyone.
Can you just stay away, no? Leave me alone and then come back here, eh?
Depends on what other information I get. The request that I should not show this in court. I don't think I can keep it, honestly. I wonder what Gory feels about her mother's crime and all of that. Huh? Do I not see the laboratory? Is it not here? I thought we were gonna see Gory. Okay. Guess not. Let's go back to Kazuma, I mean. Kazuma. Maybe you'd like to see this thing. Kazuma, what do you make of this? No, he doesn't want to see it. Okay. Do we... No. Maybe show him the autopsy report? We want to talk to Gory. This came up in the trial, didn't it? As something a little dubious, I mean. The fact that no time of death was recorded on Inspector Gregson's autopsy report. Yes, there were some unexpected turns in the courtroom earlier. The suggestion you came up with certainly took everyone by surprise. The idea that the victim died the previous day at some other location is quite something. Well, considering when the pocket watch had stopped and the scorch marks on the candle, it's certainly a distinct possibility. The evidence and the scene both point to it. To be honest, it bothered me too. So I paid a visit to the autopsy room earlier. The coroner responsible wasn't there, but I got a name. It's Dr. Gory. I also got the name. It's on the autopsy report. What? No, if it wouldn't trouble you, Kazuma-sama, we'd very much like to speak with the coroner too. Of course, the last thing I want is for anything to be brushed under the carpet. Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory is behind Lowgate Cemetery. Lowgate Cemetery? By Berkeley Prison, you mean? You know it, do you? The prison where my father was incarcerated and robbed of his life. Kazuma-sama. Well, thank you. We'll pay a visit to the laboratory later today. Ryunosuke, I want to thank you. What? Why? For this. You safeguarded the soul of the Asogi clan. Well, it is a famous sword that's been in your family for generations. My only slight regret is that I never got a chance to draw it before I returned it to you. Why do you feel regret about that? You should be happy. Karuma is said to have been forged by a master swordsmith during the Sengoku Warring States period. I come from a long lineage of warriors, many of whom were expert swordsmen. Well then, you're a chip of the old block, I'd say. This blade, Karuma, is the symbol of the Asogi clan's honor and might. Apparently, one of my father's apprentices even took the blade's name for a surname. Really? Karuma? It does sound formidable, that's for sure. 16 years ago, when my father was a visiting student here in London, he had this sword forever at his side, which is why it means so much to me that I have it by my side again now too. And that is all thanks to you. It was an honor. Now, I have preparations to make for tomorrow. Perhaps I said a little too much. Kazuma, you've changed. No, Ryunosuke, I haven't changed at all. It's you who's changed. Okay? I didn't see it from this perspective at all. Maybe Kazuma is right. I have changed. I can completely understand your resentment of Lord Van Zieks given what happened, but the fact is, those events in this case are, well, unrelated. Is that what you want to say? How can you be so sure? What do you mean? Never mind. That man is the Reaper, and it's for that reason that the Inspector was killed. I'm going to prove as much in court tomorrow, by whatever means necessary. Don't say it like that. That sounds evil. I can't let you do that, Kazuma. I know you'll do what you have to do as a lawyer, but I'm sure I don't need to tell you that I won't be taking any prisoners in the courtroom. I would expect nothing less. Until tomorrow then, in the Old Bailey. You will be taking no prisoners. What does that mean? You wanna kill me? You're going all out, I guess. Oh my goodness, what happened here? What the heck is that? Everything's so colorful. This place really is creepy, isn't it? Well, being a dead room, it's probably full of the spirits of the dissected. But actually, there's a rather pleasing scent of roses in the air. Oh, that's a welcome addition, I guess. Well, being a dead room, the coroner probably needs a bold scent like that to mask the order of death. Iris, do you think we could change the subject? Oh, someone is sharpening their knives. What was that? She's teary. Susato-san, don't be afraid. Dr. Gorey? What? That noise before. I was sharpening my tools. I'd be dead meat if I didn't keep a perfectly keen edge on them. Right. When following the collagen fibers in the dermis, an expertly sharpened scalpel cuts like cheese. Would you like a demonstration? Oh yes, please. I'd love to see. Then I think you do nicely. Oh no! No, I wouldn't do nicely at all. I mean, maybe some other time. Always so polite. Tusk. Was that a tut? Well, we came here to ask questions, and not getting dissected. Time of death. The only thing that matters. We have actually met before. I'm a lawyer, if you remember. You're not dead yet. What? So Mama said I wasn't to cut you open. She's so strict about things like that. Well, good. Yes. Dr. Side has some scruples, at least. Oh dear. It looks like she's not interested in talking to us for the time being, anyway. For the time being? You mean until we die? I hope that's a way off. Huh? Sorry, but I wasn't planning on dying anytime soon. Surely there's some less drastic way of making her listen. The autopsy report. Dr. Gorey, we actually came here to ask you about this. He was very good. What? What? Gregson? Good, sorry? His skin didn't snag my blade once and very little mess. His joints dislocated easily and his muscle tissue was a pleasure to work with. Well, we can skip those details. But there's one thing about a report that's caught my attention. You don't seem to have recorded a time of death. Oh, that's not my fault. Oh, that made me jump. She looks kinda like Wednesday, but in white. And then please, tell us what happened. So, why doesn't this autopsy report include the victim's time of death then? It's really the most crucial detail. I was told not to write it. What? By whom? Mayor Strongheart, the Lord Chief Justice. He came here. Lord Strongheart came? He said that from the witness statements about the gunshot and the other evidence, it was obvious. The man clearly died at 5 PM on 1st November when the gunshot was heard. But that's not the time of death you wrote on the report. You didn't write anything. Was there some reason you didn't include it? Dr. Gorey, if you're hiding something under Lord Strongheart's instructions, then sooner or later you're going to go the same way as your mother. Ryunosuke, why did you have to say that? Did you just say something without moving your lips? Give it here then. Huh? What's she scribbling? The time of death? There. Oh, she did move her lips. You've written... What's she written? Tell us! Indeterminate. But... An accurate estimation of the time of death is not possible. What do you mean by that? Why was the time of death indeterminate? When the specimen was brought in, it was still fresh, so the time of death could easily have coincided with when the gunshot was heard. But there was one small discrepancy. What discrepancy? There was some fried fish in the pocket of the specimen's overcoat, and that fish had started to rot. What? If the victim liked fried fish, he presumably liked to eat it before it went off. Well, yes, what are you really trying to say? Ryunosuke, don't be so stupid! It's possible that someone tried to manipulate the apparent time of death. Manipulate the... Is that even possible to do? Theoretically, if you were to chill the body in ice, you could delay the onset of putrefaction. And if the overcoat wasn't on the body at the time, then only the fish would have started to rot. Someone wanted to conceal the fact. Someone who has access to ice? Ice? Where have we heard of ice before? Have we? Did someone sell ice? I don't remember. With today's science, it's not yet possible to determine if the body was chilled or not. But today's science is advanced enough to let you freeze a corpse, it seems. But surely, to chill a corpse like that would require an enormous electrical refrigerator. And I don't imagine many households in London are equipped with such a device. No, definitely not, but maybe in a factory or some other special places. I don't recall seeing any factories or such like on Fresno Street though. I wonder if the inspector's body had been chilled somehow. What might the actual time of death have been? I couldn't say for sure, but at the most, it might have been a day earlier. No. In other words, it would corroborate your previous deduction, Mr. Naruhodo, that Inspector Gregson was killed a day before his body was discovered at a different location. Did you inform Lord Strongheart of this possibility? He simply said that there were no electrical refrigerators of that size in the vicinity. Oh yes, one other thing. It's something the governor of Berkeley Prison told us. He said that your mother, Dr. Scythe, was responsible for confirming the death of the professor after his execution. The professor... Apparently, you always enjoyed listening to your mother's stories about her work, so we were wondering if you might know something about what had happened 10 years ago. That's not all Mama did. Sorry? My mama carried out the autopsy of Clint Van Zieks as well. Oh, she's... Her eyes. Looks like she's about to cry. Carried out the autopsy of Clint Van Zieks. Okay, does that matter? What? Really? The brother of Lord Van Zieks, the professor's final victim. So you're saying that one might be faked as well? Might have been a fake? The idea of carrying out an autopsy on a member of the aristocracy was completely unthinkable back then. Oh yeah, right. But a detective in charge of the investigation insisted, and it was miraculously authorized. That detective being this Inspector Gregson, of course. Quite an accomplishment for one man. That autopsy provided the vital clue needed to arrest the killer. And Mama was there for that historic event. What does all this mean? You know, that amazing autopsy happened right here in this very room. The professor and Clint Van Zieks. They both spent their final moments before their burial on that dissection table there. So this lab, Mama's lab, was instrumental in some of the country's most important events. She really is proud of her mother. I wonder if you'd tell us more about what exactly happened back then, Dr. Gory. Clint's autopsy. What was the vital clue that might have been a fake? You mentioned the autopsy of Clint Van Zieks. It was at a time when carrying out autopsies of murder victims was very unusual. It's still not a practice that's observed in our country even now. It turned out that he was the professor's final victim, and when the autopsy was performed, Mama was present, although only as the secondary assistant. The person leading the procedure was called Dr. John H. Wilson. That's right, my daddy! Oh, you knew about that? And there was one other person present, the primary assistant. He was a visiting student from the Far East. What, Professor Mikotoba was there also? Wait, a visiting student? It must have been my father, Eugene Mikotoba. I had no idea Professor Mikotoba had been involved in something so important. But the outcome of that historic autopsy was the discovery of a vital piece of evidence that led to the capture of the professor. So that's how they came to identify Genshin Azuki as the infamous mass murderer? Do you happen to know anything about that piece of evidence? Can you tell us more? Or would you like to see the records for yourself? What? Would that be alright? What's the point of keeping records if people can't look at them? Fair point. They're filed under V at the back of those cupboards, with the other records from the last decade. V? Why is it under V? Thank you. V? Let's see. Van Zieks. Okay, I see. Van Zieks. That's strange. What, Mr. Naruhodo? They aren't here. There's nothing under Van Zieks. There must be. Perhaps somebody took them away? No one's allowed to take documents related to the professor case out of this room. No one? But you're right, they're gone. Well, when was the last time somebody looked at them? Do you remember? It was... Oh yes, I remember now. It was 2 years ago. What is she doing? She looks like she's being possessed or something. A consulting detective came one day saying that he'd like to see the records. No, you don't mean... Sherlock Holmes was his name. Deep down I knew that was coming. So maybe he remembered, right? He has such a brilliant memory, great memory after all, right? Do you think he stole the records? No, I'm not. No. Oh no, surely not. Iris, that can't be right, can it? Iris? Huh? What's wrong with Iris? The professor's execution was Mama's first big case. She had to be in attendance at Barclay Prison execution chamber and sign a certificate to confirm the convict's death. Mama's the best coroner in the world, you know. I was so proud of her. But the execution didn't actually take place. No, and worse still, Mama actually helped with the jailbreak. I didn't want to know. Oh dear, you found out recently, you mean? I believed in her, in Mama, but now I wonder if I'm starting down the same path as her.
What? Why would you say that?
You mean because you omitted the time of death on this autopsy report?
But that's because Lord Strongheart forbade you from including it. Back then, she also was under orders, presumably, right? Or not?
Just like Mama, I'm sure she was coerced by somebody too.
Yes, that's my feeling as well.
There's no doubt that there were powerful forces at play 10 years ago. The execution couldn't have been staged without a lot of people at the prison knowing about it. Obviously, the prison governor must have been in on it as well.
The governor?
The big man with the little handcuffs, according to what he told us. He was tricked by the chief warder. He says he knew nothing about it.
Of course he said that.
I'd say the same thing.
Just who was behind that jailbreak all those years ago?
Runo? I hope you don't mind, but...
What is it, Iris?
I've just remembered something very important I have to do. I'm going to have to leave it I'm going to have to leave you now.
Okay, that came out of nowhere.
Oh, this is very sudden, Iris. Well, we'll come with you then. No, there's no need. You and Bruno can take your time here. Bye for now then, good luck and bye.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute, little girl. Huh? Me? I remember now. You've been here before, haven't you?
Have you, Iris?
Yes, 2 years ago, when that detective came. You were with him, weren't you? You were a living specimen then too.
That's the way it usually works, yes.
Was I? I don't remember, really.
Putting on her glasses so she doesn't recognize her.
Anyway, sorry, but I must dash.
Wait, Iris.
I brought a pot for you when you get home.
Wow, that was fast. What's the matter with her? She's behaving really strangely all of a sudden. Is it because she took the documents?
Well, in that case, we won't keep you any longer either. It's been quite a while since I had any visitors. This was really fun. But next time you come, I'd prefer it if you were ready for dissection.
I can't make any promises, sorry. It's a bit strange that the records of Clint Van Zieks' autopsy have disappeared, but I think we've asked all we came to ask now. What's up with this decoration? Let's have a closer look at this. Then again, let's not. At least not while she's armed. Okay, fair enough.